Hi, it's Melinda, and today we are going to do something really exciting. We are going to learn how to choose the right carrier for you. To do this, we are going to break it down in 3 parts. First of all, we are going to talk about some questions that we have to answer in order to choose the right one. Secondly, I'm gonna show the basic types of carriers and how they work. It's not going to be a tutorial. It's just going to be made so that it gives you an idea what kind of products there are, basic products there are on the market to choose from. And thirdly, we are going to talk about a little bit what kind of budget you should set aside if you'd like to buy a carrier. So, without further ado, let's get started. First things first, we are going to have to answer a few questions to know where we are at. Starting with, what kind of carrier would you like? Do you have already an idea, a wish, a design? It's something just to know and kind of have in the background. Because what's even more important is who is going to use this carrier. Is this going to be you and your partner? Is it going to be your nanny? Because you all have your own preferences, I think, and you all have your own body types. And this brings us to the third point, and that is, what kind of body are we buying this carrier for? It's really simple, really, because I consulted actually my cousin, and my cousin is not as tall as I am. I'm pretty tall. I'm 184 centimeters tall. My cousin is about this size, and her husband is almost 2 meters tall with these broad shoulders, and they wanted to have a carrier together. So we had to choose something that's adjustable or at least long enough so that they could both wear it. And that brings us to the next point, which is, okay, so I have a clue what I like, or I know who is gonna use it. And okay, but what about my baby? Now, I mentioned in my previous videos something about ergonomic baby wearing. This is going to remain one of the most important points here. The carrier has to be ergonomic, which means that it's going to support your baby in his or her current physiologically correct position. And also it's going to be comfortable for you. Right, I'm going to make a different video, another video about ergonomic carrying, so I'm not going to continue explaining that, but having in mind that this is going to be something ergonomic, the next question is, okay, how old is my baby? And this is where the topic starts to get really interesting, because every professional will have his or her own opinion whether young babies should be in this carrier or that carrier, or this is better for older or not. I'm going to talk about it as I show you the basic carriers, how it can be used for the different age groups. But it's something obviously to consider. You're gonna learn about it in a second. And last but not least, something to think about is nothing more than your own body shape and your own perhaps complaints, if there are any. For example, if you're thinking about a mom who had a C-section, we can choose a carrier that completely, or a carrier or a carrying technique that completely avoids her womb, her wound, right? So you can play with it quite a bit. Also, for example, I can't really do asymmetric carrying because it really hurts my spinal cord. I have problems there, so I know that I have to avoid it. Someone who has hypermobility will have to have something that kind of gives the feeling that it holds you together, and there are special carrying techniques and carriers that will support that goal. The easiest, yet again, is to actually go to a baby wearing consultant who has enough products and experience to help you choose the best one. But hey, in this video, I'd like to help you to be able to choose it maybe independently if you don't have access to such help. So let's get started with the second part of this video, in which you are going to see the basic carriers. Okay, so we are going to start with the very first one, and this is a stretchy wrap. Wraps are basically just a long stretch of fabric. It can be woven, or it can be knitted. Basically, these are the big groups. I think most people know the stretchy wrap as something that you use when your baby is small. As a as a basic rule, it's kind of okay. I personally, and this is just going to be my opinion, I really like to have stretchy wraps for newborns because it really gives you back that feeling when your baby was in your belly. It really has this extra cuddly feeling, plus because it stretches, which means that if I open the fabric, this is just really, as you see, a long stretch of fabric. This panel is simply a decoration, right? This stretches this way, they might stretch the other way too. This stretches both ways. It depends on the manufacturer how they dreamed this fabric, but the major point is that it really helps you, kind of hugs you. And after birth giving for a mom, I find it's really comforting to have something that's not so I wouldn't say stiff, because woven wraps are not stiff per se, but something that is moving with you. So you can tie this in many different ways. Now I'm just going to try it on so that you are going to have an idea what it looks when you use it. And I'm going to use my special baby wearing doll for this. So yeah, let's get going. So this is how a stretchy wrap can be used. There are other ways to use it too, but usually this is what I'm teaching when someone comes to me. This can be pre-tied, which is very nice, especially in the first days. It gives 3 layers on the baby's spinal cord to support it, since newborns are obviously cannot stay straight up yet, and their spinal cord is still in the development, so we have to support that area quite well. It's easy. I would say that they can also hide away quite a bit under this, which is a very nice feature too. Usually this goes with you for the first year, and they are generally not too expensive. So the plus is that it gives you the feeling of cuddliness. It's quite cheap compared to some other options. The minus is that as your baby is going to be heavier, it might start sort of bouncing with you. Not everybody likes that feeling, and if you don't know how to tie it properly, then your baby is gonna kind of sink in it. But I would say that this is lovely. This is what actually, literally, this is what I use for my babies when they were just born. And now let's move on to the next one. Moving on to the next item is the long woven wrap. This is quite magical too. This is again a long woven fabric. When you look at this, you are going to find that the price is going to vary from around, let's see, if it's very cheap, 60-70 euros for a size 6, that means 4.6 meters fabric, to, well, thousands of euros if you want to. I mean, if you'd like to have a hand-woven Egyptian cotton, that's fine. You can buy that too. So the sky is the limit with woven wraps. What you have to know about it is you can do everything with it, absolutely everything. So you can carry a newborn on your back with it. You can carry a big child on your front. You can do hip carry. You can do every single carry with it. Here is basically you pay for an exquisite piece of fabric, and then you are going to invest in your knowledge as of how to use it. And that's what's going to give you the full experience of baby wearing with this wrap. So I'm just going to show you one way to use it so you have an idea what to do with it, and the rest we'll discuss later. So this is one way to use this wonderful woven wrap. And at this point, I'd like to tell you that all the wraps that you see today are from Liliputti Babywearing. Some of them was gifted by Liliputti to be displayed in this video, but some of them are simply mine because I use them for my own children. If you would like to know more about these products, I will put the link to Liliputti in the description box below. If you are going to look at woven wraps, thus, it's a very, very versatile tool. It's really snug, comfy. The pluses are that it will go with you from day one till forever, until you actually make it into some kind of a hang mat when your children are older, or when you are going to sew a skirt or something like that for yourself from it. The plus is that you can have lots of fun with it. It suits you whether you want to front carry, hip carry, or back carry. And the minuses would be that you have to invest knowledge and time into learning how to use it. But basically there are no other downsides. It's less cuddly, I feel, but many parents find that right after birth giving they really find it quite nice that it sort of holds them together. So there are two camps: one who thinks that the stretch wrap is nice because it's moving with you, and one who thinks that a woven wrap that doesn't give, it doesn't have a stretch, that it's better because it kind of holds you together. So yeah, everybody has his and her own preferences. I think we should absolutely respect it, and you should choose something that you like yourself. It's very important that if you can, you go ahead and try a carrier before you buy it. Now, I know some of you will just order something online because that's what you have an opportunity for, but I hope that you can send it back if it doesn't feel right. And don't forget that sometimes you have to practice a little bit before you will know whether it's something that really suits you. So let's move on to the next one. The strange big movements only are there because my microphone is not wireless, so I'm trying to not tear the whole installation into pieces. What's really interesting is that one of the questions that I posed at the beginning was who is going to wear it? Because it could be that you are going to wear it with, let's say, 3 persons, a nanny, a mom, and a dad, and they all have different preferences. So you might then have to compromise, obviously. Not everybody wants to put in the time to use woven wrap, although it's good for every size, so you will never ever have to adjust it. If you're a nanny and if you know how to tie a wrap, a long woven wrap, you'll have it easy. I think that's the most efficient way for you. If you're a mom who is using it alone, then obviously it depends. Then you have the biggest freedom to choose whatever suits you the best. If you're using together as a couple or something, it could be that one of you would like to have something that's really quick, and then the other one doesn't mind to take their time, so then you have to make a compromise. And that's where the compromise comes in for me. My favorite type of carrier, it's not to sell it to you, it's just well, my story. I like to tell my story during these videos. So my favorite carrier is a Mai-tai. Now, a Mai-tai is originally an Asian type of carrier. This is a sort of Mai-tai conversion. Now, let me show you what I'm talking about. Basically, a Mai-tai is an adjustable carrier that has already a pre-made body. Okay, so this is it. It's got 2 tails here, down below, and 2 tails up here. It's really, really easy to use. I'm going to show it even with back carry because it's really, really that simple. This is an adjustable one, which means that you can make it shorter for a smaller baby, as you see. For my baby, I will need something like this. So as you see, this is just a little thing against the sun, or if the baby falls asleep, so I will fold it to the back. It doesn't have any function in the carrying. As you see, now it became smaller basically, and now we can apply it. So let's just do it. So it's a really, really easy carrier to use. The baby can be higher up or lower up on you. Usually we say that small babies you put all the way high up. Having said that, for example, me, I'm really, really tall, as I said. I have to carry my babies a little bit lower usually because otherwise I'm too unstable. This is a Mai-tai. And this is a perfect combination. It has the softness of a carrier, it has a softness of a wrap, but it has all the benefits of a bucklecarry, which I'm going to show you in a second. Yet it doesn't have any buckles, no plastic involved. It's just a really smartly engineered piece of fabric. Very, very easy to use also for front carry. And this time I try not to destroy the microphone. So this would be the Mai-tai as a front carry. Now let's have a look at what if you have something that's as smartly engineered as this is, but even more simple. At least many people think so. Okay, so if you would like to have something more simple, then a buckle carry such as this might be your thing. This is also pre-engineered basically. It's adjustable. So you'll find that when you're looking at different types of carrier options, there are going to be the ones that are one-sized, so they are going to be good for a period of time, and there are going to be the ones that are going to grow with you. It's something definitely to consider when you're choosing, right? So you don't want to buy something very expensive that's only okay for a year. I mean, you can absolutely, but at least you should know what you're doing. What you just saw that I did, I took off the extensions because you can use this for a bigger child or a smaller one. I'm going to use this for my doll. My doll is a tiny bit too small for this. It's got a newborn insert, so you can carry very small children with it as well. I prefer for that rather a stretchy wrap, but this is also absolutely possible and ergonomic in this one. I'm going to show front carry with it with Renata. This is going to have two buckles here and one in the back. Let's have a look. I'll show it to you actually. So you make it fit your needs. This is a security system here, so that if the carrier would open, which actually never does by itself, it's very new, it still doesn't pop right open. It's something to look for when you are looking at the quality of a carrier, for example. And please let me know in the description box below if you would like to know more about the quality of carriers, if I should make a video only about judging the quality when you're shopping for these things. Here we go. We put our baby in. If we click this one, then we adjust the straps. You can carry really high up or lower, what you prefer, as long as your baby is close enough to kiss. And this is how simple it is. As you see, different carrier options are going to require different skills. Now with this one, if you're using it with two people, you will have to adjust it over and over again, because now it's adjusted to my size, let alone to your children's size. It's not difficult to adjust, but I would say that it will cost you exactly as much time, if not more, than using a woven wrap when you practiced enough, because you will have to adjust the waist belt, you will have to adjust this one, you will have to adjust these straps around your arms. So I would say that you just have to know what's comfortable for you and go for that. Don't look for the fastest looking option at that moment, because it's also going to change as you gain experience. Although the setting is a little bit different, I'd like to add this clip for you guys about the ring-sling. In my previous shooting session, I had to interrupt what I was doing, and so this is the time now to show you what the ring-sling is. The ring-sling is made of a woven wrap, and two rings are attached to it, and you can easily make a circular wrap from it, and your baby is gonna sit in it. Just have a look at how my baby is sleeping in it right now. The ring-sling is typically something that I recommend for a little bit bigger babies. I know many of you like it for newborns. I just don't really like it because if someone doesn't make this, let's say, upper part quite tight enough, then the baby's neck is going to be a little bit under supported, and since baby's trachea is not made of tiny bones yet but from very soft cartilage, the suffocation hazard is pretty much there, so baby can go like this in a wrongly tied ring sling and can actually block its own trachea and cannot breathe anymore. So I always suggest that either you really look out for it, that this upper rail is nice and tight, or you just start with something else and use the ring sling when your baby is a little bit bigger and can have some neck support by himself or herself. I hope you liked it. I added this little bit as well, and now let's go back to the main video. And so last but not least, let's talk about budget. I mentioned a few things already during the video, but what I would like you to take with you from this is that buckle carriers are typically the most expensive if you look at the beginner to mid-price range in general in carrying options, because you are going to pay for the time that you don't have to invest into learning it. So it's all about, yeah, time investment. Also, buckle carry is really nice, I think, for bigger children. My son is 4 years old and I'm using the buckle carry mostly for him, simply because I'm quite bony. And the thing is that I like the padding. I like the padding at the waist belt. I like the padding at my shoulder, and it's just really easy because my son is rather impatient, so it's really cool to just click and go. For smaller ones, it's a whole different story. Woven wraps are the best from a price point of view, because they are going to go with you from day one to the very last day, basically, when you want to still carry your baby. Stretchy wraps are they don't go with you for so long, perhaps, not all of them, but most of them. On the other hand, they are rather cheap. So there you just have to look out for how stretchy is it, what do you feel about the build quality, and then you look at the price. Okay, so perhaps you will use it for a year. Is it worth it or not? Well, I hope that with this video I could help you a little bit. Obviously, baby-wearing consultants or peer support groups are amazing contacts to start at. If you are at home alone, I hope that you can make the right choice after you looked at this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Let me know in the comments if I missed something. I would love to hear from you. What else would you like to learn about this? This video is not meant to be a tutorial. It's really important that you know that. I didn't explain anything about how I was doing the things. Plus, I was struggling with my mic cable, so it's not the video to learn how to wrap from. I hope that it was useful. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I see you the next time. Also, don't forget to subscribe. Bye bye!